That was pretty tough. I forget how difficult Moog is if you don't just cheese them with bleed weapons. Okay, well, let's just go grab the bone bow, maybe a few other things that I might need, and then I'll switch over to sculpting. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do something, I forget. Oh yeah, music.
Ah, were you guided here by kindly Mikola? I am Leda, and like you, I was guided by faith along his honorable path. Touch the withered arm, and you too will be transported to the realm of shadow where Mikola the Kind now dwells. My compatriots are there already. Like us, they have heard kindly Mikola's call. If you can find them, they are certain to lend you aid. Come now, I will not be far.
Alright, level 34 DLC, let's go. Bone bow should be over there in Belarus, and then I can go get the blue regen talisman. I forget what it's called. So, pretty sure anything can kill me in one hit here. Zero's Shadow Tree Blessing. I do have 40 vigor though, so it shouldn't be too bad. Oop.
Ah, you're that tarn. I am Freya in battle. Oh, did you speak? If you've yet to, you'll find more. They are Mika. If you've yet, assuming you.
Fine, then, but understand the Earth Tree, I believe, but never. If Mikola these are, I urge you, follow after Mikola. As long as you abide by his footfalls, you will be no enemy to me. I urge you, as long as you.
If you've yet to, assuming you.
must be the Tarnished. I am Ansbach. Formerly in service to Lord Moog, but now, like you, another soul guided by kindly Mikola. I'm hardly the steady hand I once was. My fighting days are far behind me, which is why I have chosen to dedicate myself to investigation, to discern tender Mikola's ultimate purpose. I'd rather not volunteer service to a new master unless I know that I can be of use. May 6 crosses, identical to this one, have been discovered in these lands. They are akin to tender Mikola's footprints. If you discover any more crosses, be certain to tell me. I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Mikola is doing here. If you discover, be certain, I presume just what...
Hello there. Together. We together. Many things. Goodbye.
Okay, if I go up here, the Great Ring shouldn't break. I don't think. I can go get the bow. I can go get the talisman. That's really all I need from the DLC for my bow build. Just have to run past everything. Man, there's a jump scare up here, isn't there? Ooh. This black firefly. Go ahead and grab this. Oh, I should go get the martial arts as well. That'd be nice. So if I run up this way, it should be fine. Might be a little bit tricky. There are snipers. And if there's a ladder here, I might be screwed. Okay, there isn't. Grace, nice. Get that. Keep on running. Can we avoid this guy? Whoa! I might be dead here. This way. Avoid all the backstabbing. Ambushes. Ouch. What's this? Alright, the bow is over here. Alright, so I'll grab it, and then once I do grab it, I guess I'll unlock the... I should have unlocked the elevator beforehand, but too late for that now. Oh god, that's where I die. Whoa! Okay, maybe not. Oh, maybe I do die here. lure him onto the ladder again. Elevator. Okay, that worked. Ooh, souls. I might as well get as far as I can. Grab all the summon spots. While I'm here. Actually, you know what? Forget it. I just need the talisman. Back here. I'll have to dodge roll past that acrobatic. Pretty difficult at this level. Let's go get something I didn't get on my main character. There's a pot here that I can break, I think. I can find it. It's around here, I think. I should really be sneaking for this. These guys will absolutely two-shot me. Oh, I guess it's not here. Maybe it's further on ahead. On the other side of the mountain here. Maybe some... Should be like a string. I can talk to this guy. Oh, maybe it's not here. Is it over here? No. It's definitely back at the town over here somewhere. Question is where? Oh, that's something. Oh, maybe it's down in here somewhere. Ah, there it is. I see it. Got it. That'll be good for a bow build. Players get too close, just drop like a roped fly pot, volcano pot. It's the wrong way. Never mind. This way. This way for the mana regen. Is this actually like the intended way of getting down here, I wonder? Is this like the only way I've ever gone down here? I feel like it's not the intended way, but it is a way. Alright. Hmm. Okay. Next up, I think there should be a way to get around the castle without having to go through it. I don't know how to do it though. Oh, I know how actually. I've done it before. Okay. And it shouldn't trigger. Hmm. That said, it's gonna be really hard to get the martial arts. I might just like use Cestus for now. Okay, if we go here, as long as we don't trigger the Great Rune breaking, I haven't skipped anything, I don't think. We'll go down this way. We can go up and around. We can go get the arrow. Ooh, shit. The arrow storing sting talisman, which would be very nice to have. There is also a crossbow down here, but yeah, there's a really good crossbow here. Red crossbow. But I don't think I'll be using it. Let's see how's it going. I don't think I'll be using this crossbow that I picked up because it doesn't do blunt damage. I'm just building my bow build again from ground up. This time without skipping any of the quests or content. And no like glitches or cheese either. I won't be duping, I won't be using chainsaw. I'll play the game as it was intended to be played. Okay, here's a spirit spring. Whee! Alright. So that's a skip for Renala's castle. Relana's castle, not Renala's. There's loot up here. I forget what it is though. I think it's just like a mushroom or something stupid. Yeah, basically a mushroom. Okay, let's go see if we can jump the wall here. Hopefully, nope. Okay, well, let's like jump that way then. How did he not see me? What the heck? That dude literally did not hear or see me. Just ran past him. What's this? Oh, it's a trap, that's what it is. Jump down here, be mindful of the hole. This way. Alright. As we're going through here, let's go. I guess we'll try to fight Dane. Dryleaf Dane, it's gonna suck, man. It's gonna suck so hard. I had trouble fighting him on my properly leveled character. Oh god. Hope I don't get one shot for the archers. That'd suck. Get the summon pool here. Oh my god, I got some lag. Oh my god, that's scary. Okay, we're out of that. Where is Dane? Should be over here with the Grace, I think. Do I just get Dane's footwork here without having to fight him? If so, that'd be nice, because I do not want to fight this guy with my setup. No, it's just scatter tree shit. Okay, well, let's go level up our scatter tree. Just a bit. Shadow tree, scatter tree. That's not gonna be enough. I don't... How am I gonna kill this guy? I don't know if I can. Don't know if it's possible. Well, we'll just go in there. We'll see if there's a place that we can stand on to cheese him. If not, I really have no idea how I'm gonna kill this guy. I probably can't. Oh, I don't even have the emote. Do I not even? Yeah, I don't even have the emote for that. How do I get the emote? I forget how. Whatever, it's fine. We'll use some other weapon besides the martial arts. Okay, time to not get too close to that. Otherwise, I'll just break everything. Can I just like go up this way? Nope. Maybe over here. There we go. There we go. This should be it. Oh, nope. There. We'll grab the Grace here, but we won't talk to Lita. Oh, there it is. There's the May the Best Win. Okay, we'll try to find if there's a way to cheese Dane. I could get like a shield with shield crash, but that would take some time. And it's not guaranteed either. Best I can do is probably stand some. Oh wait. NPCs have like auto dodge. Dane's just gonna auto dodge all of my arrows. We'll see if there's a place to cheese him. Doubtful, because the developers are probably aware of trying to get things not cheesed. Well, yeah, that's terrifying. Oh, I made it. Oh, he can make it too. Okay, yeah, I don't know, man. This is awful. I can try poison. I think one kick's gonna kill me though. Like he's so fast too. Fast with auto dodges. Like that's basically my only opening when he does that. Oh, got one arrow. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Letting me heal, huh? Very honorable. Let's see, do I have anything else I can use? Not really. Cute. Okay, we'll look for a place to choose and then keep looking. I doubt I can find anything. I'm sure they've made this. Oh wow, I knocked him down by falling on him. That's funny. I'm sure they like made this place like airtight. Maybe up here? Oh. Maybe he's too stupid to get up here. Never mind. We'll try that again. Maybe we can get him stuck. Maybe we can get his AI stuck. But even then, like, I don't even know how that's gonna work. Because we'll be able to, like, auto-dodge. Oh, is he stuck? Ow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, shield crash. Or like shield. No, shield poke's not gonna work. Yeah, forget it. We're not gonna be able to kill that guy. It's not now. We'll need like shield crash for that. Do I even have a shield? I don't have shield crash. We'll do that like some other stream. So that's where you go to get the carrion sword with the sword series. Should be another way to drop down here. Let's go get the grace first. We'll get the talisman. Wait, did I go the wrong way? Like maybe I went the wrong way. Shoot, I think I went the wrong way. I think I'm supposed to like jump over there. Can you even get down from over there? Wait, how did I even get over there before? So confused. Be wary of jumping. Okay, let's go teleport back up here. It's probably a different route. Oh no, do I have to go through all of that just to get down there? Oh wait. No, you can jump down here, never mind. Yeah. This is the way. This is the way. I don't think I do enough damage to be able to... I don't think I'll be able to kill these guys because I just don't do enough. Yeah, the damage is too weak. I'm just gonna have to run through all of this. Luckily, I know where it is because I've gotten it before. I just like past here through the back. And then to where? Oh, yeah, that's fair. All right, that's that, I think. Next talisman is Renala, right? I think it's Renala.
Only fine. You have now to become the thing as much.
Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. Since we have this, we might as well go get the Arrow Sting Talisman, so it's over here. At the old rune farm. Should probably upgrade my weapon. I should probably upgrade to at least, I don't know, +4. Wait for them to fall down. Is there a better place to snipe them from? Right over here? Yeah, has his shield down. It's crazy, he can block while their shield is behind them. It's gonna use bleed. There we go. Okay. Is Dancer and Alexander's, and then I have my build, basically. Um, okay. Let's go here. I guess I can go get the Hunter Charm now.
It's always a pleasure.
Let's not buy arrows just yet. We can buy
Always a
like 20 arrows. Uh, 1,000. Buy like yeah. Okay.
goodbye. Nice to do.
Oh, I already bought it. Okay. So we'll go buy some more thin beast bones then. Oh, I need those runes to upgrade, actually. Let's go and do that. Do I even have anything to upgrade with? Can we buy some smithing ones? I don't think we can. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I took you no matter lay out your own. Back over no matter.
unusual to this. Have a sec.
Oh, that's good. What? Inappropriate activity detected. Been having this bug recently with Elden Ring. Do I need to re-verify again? I forgot to mix my physic again. I don't need to kill Moog. This could be Crimson, I guess. Could use one more mana flask. What is going on? Whenever I try to like connect, it says inappropriate activity. Let's go re-verify Elden Ring's game files. I heard that it helps. Where is it? Verify integrity. What's up with this? It's like I projected the low poly details. That's not good. Let's go find... Let's go load the old... I feel like it projected the wrong details. Like I'm having to smooth out a lot more than I should have to. Okay, this is the old version, right? So we pent it here. Maybe it wasn't on the highest subdiff before projecting, which would be really bad. Oh, it wasn't. Okay. Yeah. Let's go project again now. It wasn't on the highest subdiff. Delete all of these. What is this? Oh, these are like the... Yeah, we don't need this either. These are the claws, we can hide those. Okay, so this is the new geometry. I want to make sure that the fingertips are masked. Doesn't have to be perfect, but okay. That's the highest subdiv. This is also the highest subdiv. We made some changes here. I do want to kind of keep them. What's this? Okay. How's Steam doing? Is it done? I guess it's done. Wait, what? Okay.
Style deep dish pizza has to be one of the most polarizing and controversial foods out there. From Jon Stewart's famous rant,
"It's a casserole,"
to the feuds between fellow Chicagoans about which deep dish pizza place is the best. And since I am not one to ever sidestep a quagmire, I have decided to jump into this controversy by making the first recipe from the 1940s for what would eventually evolve into the modern deep dish pizza. Of deep dish pizza, this time on Tasting History. So I am back in my kitchen, finally, after like 6 weeks, and I'm loving it. It looks different. Different is scary, but frankly, it's more user-friendly, and since this is actually my kitchen and not just a set where I film, user-friendly is good. Unfortunately, that did mean that I had to get rid of my beautiful gas oven. It was leaking and not great, but that means I have a new oven that I have to christen, and I decided what better to christen a new oven with than pizza. And when deciding on a pizza, I decided to do Chicago deep dish, and since this is Tasting History, I'm not just making a deep dish pizza, I am looking back in time to find one of the earliest recipes for Chicago-style deep dish. And one has to ask, do you prefer Chicago-style deep dish, or do you prefer a New York-style or just more traditional-style crust pizza? I have to say I've always fallen into the traditional style pizza camp, but that's what I grew up eating, like Peter Piper pizza and stuff. But I actually didn't even get to try a real Chicago style pizza until I went to Chicago last year. I went to several places that served deep dish and stuffed pizza. We'll get into that. But I didn't go to the place that it all originated, which was Pizzeria Uno, located at 29 East Ohio Street in Chicago. It opened in 1943, and in 1945, newspapers around the country published an article that had a recipe from the owner, Rick Ricardo, not to be confused with Ricky Ricardo. And I love that at the time, pizza was such a novelty food, at least here in the US, that the author, Gaynor Maddox, had to explain what it was. Pizza, pronounced pizza, is an Italian pie with a savory filling, usually made of sausage or anchovies and cheese. It's the after-the-movie snack favorite of teenagers. Also, I came across this old 1945 article while reading a modern article by Peter Regas, who is a Chicago-based food historian who is obsessed with pizza and knows like everything about it. I was really impressed with his research, and he just kept popping up while I was working on this video. Anyway, we'll talk more about him and his work in the history section of the video, but this is the recipe section of the video. And I'm actually going to be using two recipes to make this recipe, because the first recipe from 1945 has details on how to make the crust and how to make the sauce, but in 1947 another article was published that detailed how to assemble a deep dish pizza. Both recipes were written by Rick Ricardo, so I feel like I can kind of mash the two together to make one recipe that's like the pizza that he would have been serving around 1947. And I'll put actually both full recipes on the website, tastinghistory.com, so you can see them, but for the purpose of the video, I'm mashing them together to make it easier to follow along. Be easy to follow along, but I am making a main dish, and that main dish is deep dish pizza. Now, the original recipe calls for making 6 pizzas, and while I could probably eat 6 pizzas, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to make one 12-inch pizza. So to make the dough, which is rather different than the modern style deep dish dough, what you'll need is 1 cup or 235 milliliters of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2.5 teaspoons of dried yeast, 2.5 cups or 300 grams of flour, and 2 tablespoons of lukewarm water. So first, scald the milk by heating it to around 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 Celsius, and then remove it from the heat and whisk in the sugar and the salt. Set it aside to cool to lukewarm as you add the yeast to the water. Now, once the milk is cooled, you can add it to the yeast and then add in the melted butter and about half of the flour. Mix the dough until it starts to come together, then begin to add the rest of the flour in, but just a little at a time, working it in before adding any more. You may not actually even need all of the flour, you just want to add enough so that you end up with a smooth but not sticky dough. Knead it for a few minutes either in a machine or by hand, and then set it in a lightly oiled bowl, cover it, and let it rise for about an hour. Then uncover it, then punch it down, knead it into a ball, and set it back into the oiled bowl, and cover it, and put it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. Now, as I said, this recipe makes a very different dough than what you would typically have for a deep dish today, which has a lot more butter or sometimes even olive oil or other oils to make it more like a short crust, kind of a crumbliness, rather than bread-like, whereas this is pretty bread-like because it has a lot more gluten worked into the dough. And just as the dough is different, so too is the sauce. First of all, the recipe actually calls for canned tomatoes. And I'm thinking that maybe that was just for the purpose of the article and that he used fresh tomatoes in the restaurant, but I don't know, so I am going to be using canned tomatoes. Also, the amount of sauce in that original recipe, it is not adequate, and I did not realize that until I was actually assembling the pizza. And then I looked closely at both recipes. So the 1945 recipe is definitely for a thin crust and just a little bit of sauce. Something, though, happened between 1945 and 1947 that totally changed the way he was making this pizza. First, he says that the dough should not be thin, and he says that you should be generous with the tomatoes. So more like a deep dish pizza. So I am doubling the amount of the sauce. So use 4 cups of crushed tomatoes, which you'll pass through a conical sieve, and then add 1 finely minced garlic clove, not nearly enough garlic in my opinion, but there it is, a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary, and a 1/4 teaspoon of basil, and all of those should be dried rather than fresh. Then 1 dried bay leaf, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 whole onion. I thought that the onion would need to be chopped, but if you look later in the recipe, it says to take out the whole onion. So it's just a whole onion that he pops into the sauce. Mix everything together and then add in 4 cups of water. I also thought that this was kind of odd because you're just going to make a very watery sauce, but then you're going to simmer the sauce for 2 to 3 hours and you're going to let all of that water evaporate until you have a nice thick sauce once again. Now as the sauce cooks, you can take the dough out of the refrigerator, let it come to room temperature, and then spread it out into a circle or whatever polygon I ended up making, and then set that into a cake pan that has been oiled with olive oil. And you want to have the dough come up the sides just as you would for a pie. Now I brought mine all the way up, which to be honest is probably too thick, because if you look at pictures from the 1940s and early 50s, the pies are not quite as thick. They're only about an inch, and I think I went closer to 1.5 inches, even 2 inches. C'est la vie. Once the dough is in though, you can cover it up and let it rise until the sauce is ready. And then it is time to assemble the pizza, and this is where things get kind of weird. See, in that 1945 recipe, it is getting assembled like a traditional pizza with the sauce and then the cheese and toppings on top of that. But something happened by 1947 where that switched and the cheese goes on bottom and the sauce goes on top, which is what is done in a deep dish pizza today. I just think it's cool that looking at these 2 recipes separated by only 2 years, we can see this very major change in how deep dish pizza was assembled. Now, what is weird? That's not weird. What is really quite weird is that at the time, you could have a cheese pizza, or you could have an anchovy pizza, or you could have a sausage pizza. You wouldn't get the cheese and the toppings. So it was sauce and one of those 3 things, which I think is kind of odd. So if you want to do sausage, that's fine, but you should omit the cheese if you're sticking to this original recipe. I'm playing it safe and just going with a traditional cheese pizza. And to make a cheese pizza, the 1947 recipe says that once the dough is in, you should fill the plate with thin slices of mozzarella cheese, cover the cheese with tomato sauce, and be generous with the tomatoes. On top of the tomatoes, sprinkle plenty of grated Parmesan cheese, a couple of generous pinches of oregano, and some freshly ground pepper. Then sprinkle with a few drops of olive oil all over. Then you pop that into an oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 260 Celsius for 20 minutes or until it's done. This is a new oven for me, so I'm still trying to gauge the time. 20 minutes was a little too long, darkened up the crust too much, so it ended up being about 18, but just keep an eye on it. And while you do that, we can talk about the rather controversial history of Chicago's deep dish pizza. Now, there are numerous stories about the origins of the deep dish pizza, and frankly, most of them conflict with each other, so they can't all be true. I have been won over, personally, by the story told by Peter Regas. He is the food historian that I mentioned earlier, because his research is fantastic. Rather than just accepting the stories that are told, he actually went and looked at evidence from the period to disprove a lot of the falsities and half-truths in many of these stories. But to uncover the truth about the history of deep dish, we actually have to start with the official and probably incorrect story that comes from Pizzeria Uno themselves, the original home of the deep dish pizza. See, according to the company, it was founded in 1943 by Ike Sewell and Rick Ricardo. Ike, being from Texas, wanted to open up a Mexican food restaurant, but Rick had never tried Mexican food, so they made some, and Rick became violently ill and decided that he didn't like Mexican food, and so he fled to Italy for 3 months to come back with a recipe for pizza and an idea to open up a pizza restaurant. Well, Ike was fine with that, except being from Texas, he thought that that Italian pizza was too thin, too namby-pamby, and that he needed a heftier, everything is bigger in Texas style pizza, and so he wanted it deeper, hence the deep dish. Now you'll note that that version of events is from Ike Sewell, and he only started telling that story after Rick had died, and that, my dear viewer, is because it is utter codswallop. For me, the story falls apart right at the beginning when Rick tries Mexican food and doesn't like it, because how can you not like Mexican food? But more telling is what Peter Regas points out, and that is that in 1943, when Rick made his vacation to Italy to study pizza, he would have done so at the same time that the Allies were invading Italy during the height of World War II. Yeah, that just doesn't really pan out. Even more evidence comes in the form of leases and liquor license applications that show that Ike Sewell was not really part of it for the first year, pretty much, that the restaurant was going on. And so that's probably why, years later, Rick's then wife was quoted as saying, "Ike Sewell didn't know beans about deep dish pizza. I think Sewell is a crook." Now, I don't know if he's a crook or not. That might be going a bit too far, but a teller of tall tales, most definitely. What's interesting is that it might not have even been Rick Ricardo's idea to make it into a pizza restaurant, because it kind of already was a pizza restaurant. See, Rick and his wife lived in the building of Pizzeria Uno, or that would become Pizzeria Uno, but when they were living there, the ground floor was actually a place called the Pelican, or the Pelican Tap, and they served pizza. But it was a really rough and tumble kind of place. It probably actually closed down to a murder that took place there. And so when that happened, Rick bought the place downstairs and decided that he would turn it into a pizza place, probably because it was already fitted out with pizza stuff. Mostly, though, it wasn't that he wanted to make pizza, it was that he didn't want it to become the kind of place that it had been before. Ricardo, then living above the place, bought it for a pizzeria restaurant so that no damned noisy tavern with a jukebox could take it. Now, when it first opened in 1943, Pizzeria Uno was simply called The Pizzeria. And then it was Ricardo's Pizzeria, or Pizzeria Ricardo, and had several other names before it finally became Pizzeria Uno, which is still what it's called, and it's still in its original location on Ohio and Wabash in Chicago. Not long after they opened, business was booming, so they opened another spot just down the street called Pizzeria Due. And many of Chicago's other famous deep dish places, like Lou Malnati's and Gino's East, can also trace their origins back to this original Pizzeria Uno. But those origin stories also are maybe not so true. For instance, Lou Malnati's. Some often claim that Lou's father, Rudy, was the original manager of Pizzeria Uno and was the real genius behind the first deep dish pizza. But that ain't true, because the original manager was Rick Ricardo's cousin, and after he left, there was another guy named Gino Volpe who was manager for a number of years. It wasn't until the 1950s that it seems Rudy even appears as manager. Now, his son Lou Malnati, also worked there as a bartender, and in 1971, he decided to strike out on his own and open up his own pizza place. Lou Malnati's now has lots of locations, and I did eat at one when I was in Chicago last fall. Now, the other spot that has ties to Pizzeria Uno is Gino's, and then Gino's East, which were opened by Sam Levine, Fred Bartoli, and George Laverdi. But while two of those guys were actually from Italy, later they admit we didn't know pizza from nothing. So they had the rather bright idea of poaching the chef from the most popular pizza place in town at the time, and at the time, that was Pizzeria Due, and the head chef there was a woman named Alice May Redmond. Now, she had come to Chicago back in the 1940s from Mississippi, and she is the person who probably has the most effect on what would become Chicago deep dish pizza, because she totally changed the style of the crust. See, she was working with the crust that we are making today, which is more like a bread dough, and she said that she had trouble stretching it into the pan, and that's because a bread dough kind of shrinks back in. It is a little difficult to work with. So she doubled or even tripled the amount of butter. Basically, what she said that she did was she used a biscuit recipe that her family had been using to make the dough more like a biscuit so she could stretch it out more, and that's kind of what it is today. Now, some say that she was successfully poached from Pizzeria Due, though her daughter said that actually she was working at both places at the same time. She was at Pizzeria Due during the day, and then at night she would go to Gino's. And it was only when somebody at Pizzeria Due found this out that they said, well, you got to pick one. Well, she chose Gino's, and she was there for a while. Then she went to Gino's East, and it seems that wherever she went, that was the best pizza place in town. First it was Pizzeria Uno, she was chef there, then it was Due, then it was Gino's, then it was Gino's East. So she should get a lot of the credit, I think, for making the best pizza, and yet she is the one person in this story who never had a restaurant of her own. Now, it's also during this time period, like the 60s and 70s, that, so she's changed the crust, but also the pizzas start getting deeper. They go from about an inch to a half to 2 inches, and they start playing with it. And some people start making what's known as a stuffed deep dish pizza, and that's basically an extra layer of dough, and all of the stuff is on the inside, and then there's stuff on top. Just makes it even more like a casserole. The place that made that stuffed deep dish pizza famous is a place called Giordano's, and I did go there as well, and that place actually I think has the best cheese pull, but it's just way too heavy. Then there is Pequod's, which I didn't get to go to, and they also do not have any connection to the original Pizzeria Uno, but they were making deep dish pizza, and they started putting cheese like on the outside. It kind of made a crust of caramelized cheese. Next time I go, really want to try that. Now, each of these pizza places in Chicago seems to have their fans and their detractors, and I think that it's like a favorite pastime of Chicagoans to argue about which is best, especially when talking to tourists, because I feel like a lot of the Chicagoans don't actually even go to these places as much as the tourists do. But I was a tourist, so I went. Anyway, I'm not going to weigh in on what's best and what's not, except that I am going to weigh in on a pizza that isn't served anymore, because it is the original deep dish style pizza from the 1940s. And here we are. Rick Ricardo's original 1940s deep dish pizza. I mean, look at that melty cheese. It smells amazing, but let's give it a try. And this is definitely a fork and knife pizza. You don't pick this up with your hand. Here we go. That is really, really good. So the sauce is a little more watery than I would like, and I think that's just, I just needed to cook it a little bit longer to let more of the water evaporate, but the flavor is fantastic. It is, I would like maybe a little bit more garlic, but it is plenty flavorful enough. And that cheese, it's a nice, good amount of cheese. And the sauce isn't too much. Sometimes you get deep dish today and it's like 80% sauce, 20% cheese. I'd say this is 50-50, and that's the way I like it. One more bite. And the crust on the bottom it's cooked. It's not crisp, but it's nice and cooked through and bready. But I am going to just take a piece of this crust, which is really more like bread. It is not like a traditional deep dish that you'd have today. Get some sauce. Nice and chewy, super flavorful. I love it. I gotta say, it lies somewhere between modern deep dish and something more like a New York style pizza, and I kind of like that. Deep dish to me is just so heavy. 2 bites and I'm done for the day. I'm down for the count. But this, I could have several slices. Now, one more funny thing about that 1947 article. So the author talks about you get cheese, or you get anchovies, or you get sausage. But someday, when I'm very hungry, I'm going to try a pizza with the mozzarella cheese and the sausage and the anchovies. That should be something. This, of course, is how we eat pizza all the time today, with the cheese and the toppings. There's no reason to choose between the two, and frankly, he's right. It is something, because pizza is awesome. And I will see you next time on Tasting History.
took you, Mama, to lay out your arm.
Sorry, guys. I know this is more of a Elden Ring stream than a art stream. I'll do more work tomorrow for sure. Good night, guys. See you, Rusty. Take care.